In the pages of history, certain names shine so brightly that they echo through the ages. Among them stands one young man who, before the age of 32, had conquered the known world. A boy raised in the shadow of legends, taught by philosophers, trained by warriors, and destined to carve his name into eternity. He was Alexander the Great. But behind the glory, behind the victories, was a boy who faced struggles, doubts, betrayals, and impossible choices. His story is not only about conquest, it's about vision, courage, and the hunger to go beyond what anyone believed was possible. Let's step back in time to uncover the incredible journey of Alexander, the boy who conquered the world. It was the summer of 356 BC in the city of Pella, the capital of Macedonia. King Philip II, a hardened warrior who had transformed Macedonia into a powerful kingdom, received news of his son's birth. That same night, legend says the temple of Artemis at Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the world, burned down. Seers whispered, "The destroyer of Asia has been born." Alexander's mother, Olympias, was no ordinary queen. Fierce, ambitious, and deeply spiritual, she told her son that he was destined for greatness, that he carried the blood of heroes and perhaps even gods. She claimed that Alexander's true father was not Philip, but Zeus himself. These whispers shaped the boy's mind, filling him with the belief that he was chosen for something extraordinary. From a young age, Alexander's curiosity was unmatched. While other boys played, he devoured knowledge. King Philip, realizing his son needed the best, hired none other than Aristotle, the greatest philosopher of his time, to tutor him. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander studied philosophy, science, literature, and medicine. He read Homer's Iliad so often that he carried a copy with him on his campaigns. Achilles, the great warrior of Troy, became his role model. But Aristotle didn't just fill his mind. He shaped his vision. He taught Alexander about the world beyond Greece, about distant lands and diverse peoples. He planted the seed of an idea that would grow into Alexander's dream, a united world, not divided by borders, but connected by culture. Alongside his studies, Alexander trained as a warrior. He learned to ride, fight, and command. When he was just 12, he tamed a wild horse named Bucephalus, a beast no man could control. While others gave up, Alexander noticed the horse was afraid of its own shadow. With patience and courage, he turned fear into trust. From that day on, Bucephalus became his loyal companion, carrying him through countless battles. King Philip, watching his son, declared, "My boy, seek a kingdom worthy of you. Macedonia is too small." Alexander's childhood ended abruptly when tragedy struck. His father, Philip, after years of victories, was assassinated. At just 20 years old, Alexander became king of Macedonia. The throne was shaky, rivals rose. Greek city-states rebelled. Enemies laughed at the boy king. But Alexander wasted no time. With boldness and speed, he crushed rebellions, secured his rule, and announced himself not just as Philip's heir, but as a force greater than anyone imagined. In 334 BC, at the age of 22, Alexander set his eyes eastward, toward Persia, the largest empire the world had ever known. Persia was powerful, vast, and rich beyond imagination. For Greece, it was both enemy and dream. With just 40,000 soldiers, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia. Before stepping onto Persian soil, he made a symbolic gesture. He threw a spear into the land and declared it won by the sword. It was the beginning of a campaign that would change history. At the Battle of Granicus, Alexander faced Persian forces for the first time. He led the charge himself, spear in hand, nearly dying in the process. His bravery inspired his men, and they achieved victory. Word spread a young king had defeated Persia, but this was just the beginning. Next came the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, where Alexander faced King Darius III himself. Outnumbered, Alexander used strategy and speed to break through Persian lines. Darius fled the battlefield, leaving behind his family. Instead of harming them, Alexander treated them with respect, earning admiration even among his enemies. One of Alexander's greatest challenges was the city of Tyre, a fortress on an island surrounded by the sea. Everyone said it was unconquerable, but Alexander refused to accept impossible. He ordered his men to build a massive causeway, a road across the sea. For 7 months, they worked under constant attack. Finally, Alexander's army stormed the city, proving once again that no obstacle could stop him. This victory sent shockwaves across the ancient world. Marching south, Alexander entered Egypt, where the people welcomed him as a liberator from Persian rule. At the sacred oracle of Siwa, priests greeted him as the son of Zeus. Whether it was politics, belief, or destiny, Alexander embraced the idea. He wasn't just a king, he was a godlike figure. In Egypt, he founded a city, Alexandria, which would later become a center of knowledge and culture for centuries. The decisive moment came in 331 BC at the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius assembled a massive army far larger than Alexander's. The Persians had war elephants, scythed chariots, and endless numbers. But Alexander had something greater, genius. Using tactics never seen before, he outmaneuvered the Persians. With a direct strike, he charged at Darius himself. Once again, the Persian king fled. Alexander now ruled the mighty Persian Empire. From Greece to Egypt to Mesopotamia, the world was his. Most conquerors stop once they have power. But Alexander's vision went further. He dreamed of blending cultures, of creating a world where East and West were united. He adopted Persian customs, married a Persian princess, and encouraged his soldiers to marry local women. He built new cities, spread Greek culture, and promoted learning. He wanted to be remembered not just as a conqueror, but as a builder of civilizations. But Alexander was not satisfied. He pushed further east into the mysterious lands of India. There he faced fierce warriors, monsoons, and the mighty war elephants of King Porus at the Battle of Hydaspes. The battle was brutal. Rain poured, elephants crushed men. But Alexander's strategy triumphed. When Porus was captured, Alexander asked how he wished to be treated. Porus replied, "Like a king." Admiring his courage, Alexander not only spared him, but made him an ally. This showed the world that Alexander valued honor as much as victory. After years of endless campaigning, Alexander's army grew weary. They had marched thousands of miles, fought countless battles, and reached the edge of the world. When Alexander demanded they march further east, into unknown lands, his soldiers refused. It was the first time his will was challenged. Reluctantly, Alexander turned back. He had conquered more than anyone in history, but even he could not conquer the limits of men's endurance. In 323 BC, Alexander returned to Babylon. He was just 32 years old, undefeated in battle, ruler of an empire stretching from Greece to India. But fate had other plans. Suddenly, he fell ill. Some say it was fever, others believe poison. For days he could not speak. His generals asked him, "To whom do you leave your empire?" Alexander whispered, "To the strongest." Those were his last words. Alexander died young, but his legend never died. His empire was divided among his generals, but his vision lived on. The cities he built spread Greek culture across the world. sparking the Hellenistic age, a fusion of East and West that shaped art, science, and philosophy for centuries. More than a conqueror, he became a symbol of ambition, courage, and the belief that no dream is too great. Alexander's life is a reminder that greatness is not born overnight. It is forged through vision, discipline, courage, and the refusal to accept limits. He was a boy who believed he was destined for more, and that belief carried him to heights no one else had reached. More than 2,000 years later, we still remember him not just as a king, not just as a general, but as Alexander the Great, the boy who conquered the world.